This is every single fight to make after UFC 277, Pena versus Nunes 2. I've got all of the key fighters from that card on the screen right now. Some winners, some losers, and you may notice there is an empty box next to all of them, and that's where their next opponent's going to go, who I have hidden around the perimeter of the screen. I'll slowly reveal those opponents one by one as the video goes on, and place them where they belong on the screen, starting straight away with the main event, Juliana Pena versus Amanda Nunes. Amanda Nunes wins the fight very impressively. Juliana Pena lands a couple of shots here and there and has an armbar, and some people seem to think that made it competitive, but Amanda Nunes won every round. She dominated the fight pretty much. She dominated at least all of the early rounds as well. But some people are saying trilogy. I don't know why we closed down mental asylums. I don't need to see a trilogy. And I'm seeing a lot of like, oh, but it's still 1-1. No. Amanda Nunes wins. Let's move on. We don't need to see that again. Okay, we can have Juliana Pena build herself back up, and then we can start thinking about a trilogy potentially down the line. But Amanda Nunes versus Valentina Shevchenko is the trilogy I want to see. I know that Pena versus Nunes is 1-1, and Nunes Shevchenko is technically 2-0, but arguably in the second fight you can give it to Amanda Nunes. So I feel like Nunes versus Shevchenko is the only matchup that makes any sense whatsoever. Both of them are kind of like bigger than ever, weirdly, because Nunes lost and came back, and that I feel like made her a bigger deal than just dominating everyone. And Shevchenko arguably had a really close fight her last fight. I thought she won, but some people believed that she lost. So we've seen that both of them can be beaten recently. So now putting them against each other makes it a bit more interesting because one of them's going to have to lose. We move on to another matchup. Juliana Pena, I don't feel like is going to get the trilogy whatsoever. I think she should face Holly Holm in the bantamweight division. Make it happen. Holly Holm, coming off a loss to Ketlen Vieira. People don't like the decision on that one, but that's pretty justified. It's a close fight, but if you look at things on damage, Ketlen Vieira should win that fight. But Holly Holm, Juliana Pena is a perfect matchup to make, in my opinion, so make it happen. I think it's a winnable one for Pena. It's a winnable one for Holly Holm. They're both on the older end of their career. It's not like they're young up-and-comers, so I think put them against each other and have one name still at the top of the bantamweight division and have one name sort of fall down and then have to build up another up-and-comer in the bantamweight division instead. So Juliana Pena, Holly Holm makes all the sense in the world. Moving on to the co-main event, Brandon Moreno got a big win over Kara France. I'm not trying to wait till December, but we've got to do the quadrilogy with Deiveson Figueiredo. It's 1-1-1. Sure, Figueiredo arguably should have won the first fight and definitely won the third fight, and I don't know why people can't accept that. Want to get that out in today's video as well. Figueiredo clearly won the first round. No one debates it. He clearly won the third round because it was close, and then he dropped Brandon Moreno badly in the third round. The fifth round was close. Moreno was getting the better of it. Then he got dropped, so he loses the fifth. 1, 3, and 5 Figueiredo. No discussion. Figueiredo's the champ, but we need to see the unification bout between them for the undisputed world title. I heard Joe Rogan talking about, controversial decision this, controversial decision that, in the build-up to Moreno-Kara France. Made no sense whatsoever, but it was a close fight. We need to see it again. No one really knows who's going to get the better of each other when they do have that quadrilogy bout. And also, I want to mention this. When it comes to this fight, not only do I want to see those two fight each other in November, but I want to see someone named Alejandro Pantoja be the short notice backup replacement opponent that weighs in on fight night. If anything happens to the two of them, Moreno or Figueiredo, like, you know, Figueiredo's a big guy right now. Who knows how much longer he's going to be able to make that weight class. Let's have Pantoja there just in case to fill in on short notice if anything goes wrong, and then fight the winner of Moreno-Figueiredo 4 after that fight happens. We move on to another fight. Kara France lost in the co-main event. I feel as though he should take on Brandon Royval in a rematch. He just lost a rematch to Brandon Moreno, so I feel like a good bit of motivation for him would be, listen, you just lost a rematch. Let's redeem one of your losses here and sort of get it back for yourself against Brandon Royval. Royval's on a good moment right now in his career. He's in the top of the division of flyweight, and I feel like they should make the rematch right now because they've had some fights since then, and Royval's been looking good. And he has a win over Kara France, and I feel like that kind of owes him at least a shot against Kara France in a rematch, considering Kara France is ranked above him. So make that matchup now. We'll likely not have to make it again after this one, and it makes sense compared to all the other matchups right now at flyweight. So let's do it. Kara France, Brandon Royval 2. Put it in like the co-main event of a fight night or prelim headliner of a pay-per-view spot, something along those lines. Make it happen soon. Moving on. Sergey Pavlovich got a big win against Derek Lewis in the first round by TKO. Questionable stoppage, I get it, but still he got it done. And I think he should take on Alexander Volkov next in the heavyweight division. Makes all the sense in the world to me. I know they're training partners, but I really don't care. Really don't care. If it makes sense, make it happen. Sergey Pavlovich isn't going to get the winner of Gane versus Tuivasa. He's not going to get the loser. I think the loser's going to get Tom Aspinall. I reckon he's not going to get Curtis Blades either. I think Blades is going to get the winner of Gane versus Tuivasa. So that leaves Alexander Volkov or no one else, because everyone else has got matchups. So Sergey Pavlovich, get back in there against Alexander Volkov. Main card opener of a pay-per-view spot. And let's leave one Russian standing at the top of the top 5 of the heavyweight division. Sergey Pavlovich, Alexander Volkov. I know they're training partners, but make it happen. Get paid together. Stay friends afterwards. I don't really care. Moving on. Derek Lewis lost. So he should take on Jairzinho Rozenstruik, a guy who lost to Alexander Volkov recently. I wanted to maybe say Derek Lewis versus an up-and-comer, but right now the up-and-comers have kind of got their matchups. Jailton Almeida's fighting Shamil Abdurakhimov. You've got Alexander Romanov's fighting Marcin Tybura, I believe, as well. Or, I don't know who he's taking on. August. He's taking on someone at heavyweight. Can't quite remember the name of, but they've all got their matchups coming up soon, and I feel as though we need to see Derek Lewis, Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Then the winner of that one can take on an up-and-comer like Romanov, like one of these guys that's on the come-up right now, and then the winner of that one can look back towards the top 5 of the heavyweight division. I don't think Derek Lewis has been I don't think he's earned being a sacrificial lamb yet of the heavyweight division, so have him fight Rozenstruik. Good matchup for him. One guy wins, one guy loses. We move on to another matchup. Magomed Ankalaev got a big win over Anthony Smith. It was a good performance as well. Underrated performance on the card. I know Anthony Smith got injured, but still Magomed Ankalaev won the fight, and he got it done by TKO. And I honestly believe I don't see middleweight champ moving up. Usman ain't moving up to light heavyweight, let's be real. Jan Blachowicz is coming off of a leg injury with Rakic. I know that Ankalaev kind of is as well, but I'm looking for fresh matchups for the title. I don't want to see the Glover Teixeira Yuri Prohaska rematch. If they do that, I guess we could do Ankalaev versus Blachowicz, and that would make some level of sense. But Ankalaev's likely going to be ranked number 3, number 2, or he will be ranked number 3 in the light heavyweight division. And, yeah, let's do Ankalaev versus Yuri Prohaska next. I know that there's talk about a rematch with Glover. Do not let Glover have a chance at getting that belt back and killing all pay-per-view potential of the light heavyweight division. Yuri's a potential star. He beat Glover Teixeira. Sure, it could be done more impressively, but let's cross that bridge if it's forced upon us. Let's not immediately run it back. And Glover, the guy who didn't even defend his belt, is now all of a sudden worthy of a title rematch. People really do pick and choose. I know he was winning that fight against Yuri Prohaska, but people forget Yuri nearly finished him in round 2, nearly finished him in round 3, had him hurt in other rounds as well. Sure, Glover was maybe going to win on the scorecards, if they ended at 5th round, but don't make that rematch. Don't make the Jan Blachowicz matchup. Let's get some fresh matchups. Yuri versus Ankalaev. It'd be a fun fight to see. And then we can start talking about Teixeira and Blachowicz getting their title shots one fight down the line. Moving on. Anthony Smith lost against Magomed Ankalaev, and I feel as though he should take on Paul Craig, a guy who lost to Volkan Ozdemir recently at UFC London. He's going to want a little bit of time off. I assume Anthony Smith's going to need a little bit of time off as well. So I'm thinking towards the end of the year, we do Anthony Smith versus Paul Craig. I think they've mentioned each other before and talked about the idea of fighting each other. So, yeah, let's do that one. Makes sense to me. Make it happen. Anthony Smith, Paul Craig, they've been around the light heavyweight division for a while but never taken each other on. And the winner of that one can then start to look back towards the top 5, top 10, whoever it's going to be of the light heavyweight division. Anthony Smith, Paul Craig, both coming off losses around the same time. Both going to need a little bit of time off. End of the year, Smith versus Craig. Sounds good to me. And also I wanted to mention someone else. Drew Dober got a big win against Rafael Alves. One fight I've wanted to see for such a long time in the lightweight division has never happened. And I've always wanted it to. And I feel like now we could potentially get it done. In October, in November, is Drew Dober versus Bobby Green. Please make it happen. It'll be an amazing matchup. I don't want to see anything else. Sure, you could say, oh, Drew Dober, Paddy Pimblett, and Drew Dober, Ottoman Azaitar, and those are fun matchups as well. Don't get me wrong. I would like to see those. But just while we have the both of them that have been around the lightweight division for so long now in their careers, let's have them cross paths. Drew Dober, Bobby Green. I want to see how Bobby Green deals with the iron chin of Drew Dober. I want to see how Dober deals with the straight punches of Bobby Green. I want to see how Bobby Green deals with the body shots of Drew Dober as well. I think this would be a great matchup. Great skills on both sides, and I really want to see it happen. But yeah, main takeaway from this video that you should see is Pantoja. Let him be the short notice replacement for Figueiredo versus Moreno 4. And if anything happens, he jumps in. And if the winner wins, give some promo to Pantoja in the build-up. Put him on an embedded episode weighing in and stuff like that. Give him a couple of interviews at Media Day as well. Build his name up a little bit more. He just had an amazing performance. You can use that to push him towards a title shot and have him fight the winner of that quadrilogy at a later date, hopefully sometime soon. It could end up being Figueiredo versus Pantoja in Brazil in March next year. I know Dana White said he wanted to go there next year. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.